Well, it's a bit of a sad morning in as much as none of us, no matter how many hens we keep or poultry we keep, we can't let them outside to free range. So the housing order has just come into play. I think one of the really key things that I'd like to get across straight away is that it doesn't mean to say that you cannot give your birds access to fresh air. So you can have an outdoor coop for your birds, but what it does mean is that you need to have ideally something like clear plastic sheeting over the top of their coop to prevent any wild bird droppings from coming through. So by the term housing order would imply that we need to keep them inside. And obviously at night time we do need to keep them safe from predators, but we are allowed to give them access outside, but providing they have protection from wild birds and wild bird droppings. Yeah, in the last couple of months, we've done very well. We've got an amazing team of about 1,200 volunteers right across the country. So we've been sort of rehoming hens and saving their lives as much as we possibly can to take, full advantage of that, being able to move freely. But this stops us in our tracks, certainly in England, and I suspect that Scotland and Wales will follow. It stops us in our tracks, and it's understandable. We will always, comply with DEFRA regulations. We're very involved in sort of discussions with DEFRA regularly, but it's frustrating because we go to farms, we're very biosecure. Every bird has a home waiting for her. The whole process of adoption is biosecure. People don't even get out of their cars. We load the birds into their cars for them, and they've all got, when people take them back to their homes, they've then got secure and safe spaces to put their hens. So it's, from our perspective, it's actually really sad, because it means that, if this continues for about 5 months, then we could lose as many as 25,000 birds that could have had homes, and obviously that's a huge loss of income into the charity.
I want to ask you about that. How much of a demand for your services is there, and why are you normally called in? What's the kind of common reasons?
Well, it's, the demand for our chickens has just grown exponentially ever since I started. And in the early years, the numbers just doubled year on year. It was absolutely fantastic. And then we kind of plateaued at around 60,000 birds a year. And I think our peak was nearly 70,000. I think that was when the cage ban came in 2012. It's, this year so far, we've managed to find homes for over 36,000 hens, and we're just about to hit our 900,000th hen milestone, which is very exciting for us, but obviously it's a bit muted because of the AI situation. So the demand for the birds has not waned. It's very much there, and I think the reason for that is that people, once they adopt them, are just so pleasantly surprised at these little sort of tatty, bit bald, bit nervous, in fact sometimes quite frightened little birds that then sort of blossom and flourish into beautiful, big, blousy and bold sort of family pets. So yeah, about 50% of people come back for more, and they're absolutely addicted. So yeah, it's really curtailing our activities.
And you have a concern generally. I mean, this outbreak, this is different to what we've seen before. This has gone on longer. We're into our second year now. You feel that we need to take a different stance, so to speak, at least a different long-term stance.
Yeah, I do. I'm very concerned that we all worry about this when it hits the farm gate. And, obviously there's a huge impact on the commercial sector, so that's very understandable. But when I first started, which is nearly 20 years ago, this was unheard of. And it does follow the migration season. The birds come from the sort of Far East and bring the disease with them. It started in the wild bird population in Southeast Asia, but it also has quickly spread through places like the wet markets and places where there is a lack of knowledge on biosecurity and welfare. And you match that with the intensification of both egg production and meat production in chickens and other poultry, and you are you're just concocting a really good way for disease to spread globally, and it's happening now. And I really would like to be sort of confident that the World Organization for Animal Health is really getting to grips with this. There need, in my view, some simple measures and positive measures can be put in place. And although it is in the wild bird population, we could be giving advice and guidance to even small backyard flock keepers in parts of the world where they do not understand the concept of hygiene, biosecurity and welfare. And that will at least sort of help. It will only help to dampen down the spread of the virus. And there are many other things that I think globally we need to be asking questions. The intensification of production of meat for our cheap consumption, it is biting us back. And actually we need to reconsider how we value meat in our diet. I eat meat, but I eat very high welfare meat. So I'm not an evangelist or a vegan or a vegetarian, but I think we've just lost it in terms of cheap is good, bulk it up with growth hormones is good, certainly in some countries still. And all of that is leading to the provision of a greater vehicle for disease spread. So for me, it's really worrying, and I would like to see that so much more is being done on a world basis. I am frustrated. I think this, in some ways, we have brought it upon ourselves because it's all money driven, it's commercial driven, and we all want to be successful in life. We all want to have a high standard of living. We all want to have improved diets. But what we've done is we've almost created a scenario where the animals are paying the price, and we've stretched it to such a degree that actually nature isn't able to cope with it anymore, and it's now turning on us, and in multiple ways. You can go back over a number of years with foot and mouth, with BSE, with other diseases, a lot of which are down to intensification. And we need to get back to, in my view, to balancing our diets and seeing meat as more of a luxury product, and fish. It all needs to be seen as a luxury product that is valued, and the whole animal valued, and less intensification. I think the term is, more agroecological farming methods. And whether we like it or not, I think nature's telling us that we need to be taking a serious look at this.